What would you say you do here?
It's the Signal Chords, home of the Underground podcast. A podcast dedicated to up-and-coming bands, labels, artists, and more. Plug in and join your host, Brad Nunnery, as he dives deep into what the future of music has to hold and discover something new along the way. What else do you have to do?
Attention. Do I have your attention? Of course I do. I have a megaphone. This is Mike from R0, and you're listening to Signal Chords, home of the Underground podcast.
I tried to see you, heard you were feeling blue from your last crusade. All turned out the same. Slipshot flesh wound. I tried to read you, but you turning blue with distended veins and an addled brain. Skin I see through. Some kind of virus made a prison of your mind, and all that bullshit taking up your bottom line. You turn all black and blue without a soul kept alive inside you, broken and breaking. There's no sense in staying anymore. I tried to be you, I dressed all in blue, but my tongue was tied and my thoughts were crimes. We went out loose, I tried to reach you, to talk till I turned blue, but the line went dead, all those disconnects, no escape rope. We trade our lives away, we make a big mistake. We've gone too far to return, and I watch you burn. Some kind of virus made a prison of your mind, and all that bullshit taking up your bottom line. You turn all black and blue without a soul kept alive inside you, dead and decaying. There's nothing worth saving anymore.
That's the latest song and music video from our good friends in R0. The song is called Blue. It's off Gaslighter Part 1. It's the first of 12 songs from their double LP set to drop on March 13th, 2026 on Sully Inc. Records. Really looking forward to it, but if you want to follow the band and keep up to date with them, you can follow them on all social media platforms at R0_band. All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Brad Nunnery. Welcome to Signal Chords, home of the Underground podcast, Season 4, Episode 1. Presented by my really good friend Jeff Small over at 1603 Designs. My guest and I are a really amazing band based out of Brooklyn, New York. They are called Tired Radio. The band released a new record in 2025 called Hope in the Haze, and it is, if not my favorite, it is my favorite record of 2025. So I'm super excited to talk to the guys all about the making of the record, what went into it, how it stands up in their discography, all that good stuff. You know, and the band also has some shows lined up at Pouzza Fest up in Quebec in the middle of the year, as well as a little tour in Germany. So I'm super excited to talk to them all about everything Tired Radio. But right now, let's get in their music video for Your Great Escape, and it's on Signal Chords, home of the Underground podcast.
Well, okay, yeah, here we go again, as you resuscitate a futile argument, an opportunity to fucking ruin me. You pour insult into my wounds is nothing new to me. You're the reason to believe I don't mean anything, a ruin just to take a stance against this pain you bring. And when you make your great escape this time, I won't forget to cut the strings. Hey, where you gonna go when all the places that you've been, you have already gone home? Yeah, what are you gonna do when all the reasons that you're leaving here are bound to come looking for you?
Tired Radio, man, so good to see you guys. You know what? I think it's been a long time coming, because I remember discovering you guys when I first started Signal Chords with Patterns, and that record really brought me attention to you guys, and the new album Hope in the Haze just solidified my fandom of the band. And thank you so much for joining the podcast. It's a long time coming. How you guys doing?
Oh yeah, we're doing great.
Doing great, man. Yeah, I usually do these things alone, so to have the guys on, I feel like I'm going to try to avoid all of us talking over each other at once.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's all good because I talk over people as well, but it's a little intimidating with me because I'm the only person talking of 4 other guys. So bear with me if I, it's kind of one of those things where you guys all know each other and I only know myself. So, but we're gonna make it through the podcast.
Well, you're gonna steer this ship. I have faith.
Yeah, I had a couple beers, so we're good. I got that low key profile right now, so no, we're all good.
8 o'clock somewhere.
So how's it going up there in New York and I know Tony, you're in Philadelphia. Is it cold as shit up there right now? What's going on up there?
Yeah, it sucks, dude. It snowed like, I don't know, 16 inches or something last week, and Philly doesn't really have the infrastructure to handle such a thing with such cold temps, and I had to pay some dude $40 to help me shovel my car out because I got 2 herniated discs in my back, and I just couldn't do it. Man. But like, it's not in my nature to like sit back and watch someone do that. So I went out and helped them, right? And like within 7 minutes, I completely fucked up my right arm.
Really?
So things are not good. Things are not great. I thought my arm was healing, but then I used the bathroom today for the first time since the incident. And I went to wipe, and I couldn't even wipe. There was excruciating pain in my arm. So, yeah.
Did you have to pay the guy another $20?
I had to text him. I said, "Hey, buddy, are you still around?
Come back.
We got one more job for you, bro."
Yeah, can you give me a hand? Things have been better, but things have been worse. The rest of you guys, how you doing? I haven't talked to you in a minute.
Freezing cold up here in New York, bro. Philly's. I feel like Philly's always a different time zone and temperature zone. When I leave New York and go to Philly, I'm just out. But it's always warmer down there. But I don't think right now it must not be that much warmer.
No, I don't think so.
My pipes were frozen until like yesterday, and that's because we had the oven and the space heaters on. I mean, shit's crazy up here.
Yeah, well, it's not any funner down here. I think I was telling Chris and Jay that it's literally it's 25 degrees here in Florida, and people don't know what the hell to do with themselves. It's the last time it was in the 20s was like 1985, I think it was. And
I remember when we did like a tour like 2 years ago, and we went through Akron, and then we went down to Orlando, and it was colder in Orlando than it was in Akron.
Was it cold?
Yeah,
was it cold then? I don't even remember that.
Yeah,
I remember we pulled up and we got out of the van, and me and Jay were looking at each other. We're like, it was colder here than it was like in St. Louis.
Yeah, I didn't even bring a jacket because I was like, oh, cool, we're going to Florida.
Oh yeah, that was
shorts party. Yeah,
that was the no jacket tour. And I said to you, well, you knew we were going through the Midwest in the middle of winter, but we're going to Florida. I said,
back legs for Florida.
Like 2 days.
Nah, but Florida's misleading, man. It's it's pretty crazy here, and usually historically it's like you have 1 or 2 days that are cold, then 5 days of warm, and then 2 to 3 days, and then you have like a total of maybe 2 weeks the whole winter that it's actually literally cold. But this year it's been like the hottest it's ever been and the coldest it's ever been. It's been a weird year here in Florida, but I've been smoking in the garage instead of outside, so I know that's when it's cold.
Oh yeah.
Nobody
in this band smokes anything. Trust me.
Oh yeah.
Brad, I want to ask, what part of Florida are you in? Are you in the Pan or the Handle?
I'm in Orlando. I'm dead center.
Okay, nice. I'll be down there at some point.
Oh hell yeah! Ring me up. Let's hang, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I was telling Tony, he was talking about before we started recording, he almost moved here, and he thought it was all Disney and all that kind of shit, and it's not. Like anybody who's lived here, as long as I have, that we avoid a certain section of town. Like there's I-4, the main I-4 is the main.
Yeah.
And then, like, as soon as you pass downtown going towards Disney, you don't need to be anywhere past downtown. Everything happens before downtown. The beaches are before downtown. Orlando, here in Longwood, where I live at, That's where it says, and we avoid it like the plague. It's just like you know what you're going for. But the only problem is like they have the House of Blues and the Hard Rock. You have to drive 45 minutes to go see like any national big bands to go see, and that's the problem, right? So you're driving like almost an hour to go out and see those bands. But
Right.
I generally don't do those shows anymore. I'm getting too old for driving that long.
Yeah. I mean, there's a pretty big venue over where I was staying in Orlando in Thornton Park. Are you familiar with it? I remember there were some big bands coming through last time I was there. And
that
was
Conduit. Conduit is in Winter Park, and then you have you have the Social, which is like downtown, and then you have Will's Pub, which is kind of downtown, which is like off.
Oh yeah, Will's Pub is near Uncle Lou's, no?
Yes, yeah.
Hell yeah,
absolutely.
Uncle Lou's, man. Is Uncle Lou's still going strong down there? I mean, I know there was like some.
So.
Okay, great.
We had a short run in with Uncle Lou's.
We played we played Uncle Lou's to nobody. It was one of those shows that you hear about. We played to the other bands. Well, there was one other band playing, and we played to them.
Was that with Tile Drive or
they weren't playing?
Show up.
Yeah.
They came that night, but like the band couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I remember like one. This is what I think on our first tour ever, and I feel like there was one dude who may have walked in who was like a fan, but I think he left because he was just like, "This is weird."
Yeah, he showed up. I think we had like 2 or 3 songs left, and he showed up late.
Right.
We felt so bad. Yeah.
Hey, Lou gave us some good beers, some strong whiskeys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We had a good time.
It's so funny. There's a really funny meme about like local bands playing, and there's like nobody there, and it's just like one guy going like this or whatever, and it's like this one goes out to Steve, and he's like, he's like the only.
We need
one
those Steves.
I love those memes, man. I think they're so funny. Like I saw a video of like some dude like the local band's banter. And like, at one point he's like, shout out to my girlfriend doing merch. And then he like looks at her, he's like, now it's like, what? Shut up. Okay. He's like, we have a customer. I don't know. It makes me laugh so hard, dude, because my wife does merch a lot for us, and like, it's all so real, and it's like,
it's funny.
I love it.
It's funny too, because like with different band members, like the drummer, like the drummer's setting up, like Kevin's probably setting up, and Tony comes in, it's like, oh man, I've been working so hard, whatever. It's like, you're the singer, you don't have to set up anything. And there's like drummer singer memes, whatever.
Well, stereotypes exist for a reason, man. It's like it's mostly true. I mean, I used to be just the front man of a band, and I didn't do shit. My job was to show up, while out on stage, and then get off. But
still do, but I used to too.
Yeah.
But
how do you?
Brad, there's some beautiful. I just show up like 2 hours late. Usually, Chris already has everything lined up. Jay set up all our stuff.
I wish that was a joke. I wish that was a joke, Brad, but it's not.
Oh yeah, no, it's
3 minutes.
Yeah.
3 minutes.
No, what you do is you show up 2 hours late, so you got to force all the other band members to get your shit together and help you.
Right.
Way.
I mean, drummers, we get such a bad rep, I just gotta stick to the stereotype and just show up late because that's what they expect,
Yeah. Well, speaking of Florida and playing, you guys played Fest back in the summer, or actually I think it's October, right?
Yeah. Time flies,
back in October. How was that
Cookie
show?
season.
Was that? I know you guys played that many a times, haven't you? How many times is this?
This was our
third time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys, I've heard good things and I've heard bad things, and about Fest, and I have yet to go to Fest, and it's like around Halloween, and I can't go because I got 3 kids and preparing for Halloween and all that kind of stuff.
Oh sure.
How is it for you guys? Playing there, and the atmosphere, all that kind of stuff? I know it's a really cool place to play because there's so many great bands like yours playing, and the bills are stacked, and be able to see those bands. But as far as like, I don't know, the would you say the atmosphere or the people or the venues themselves, how was your experience with Fest? been in those 3 times?
Yeah, dude, Fest is the best. Fest it's a community like none other that I've yet to experience. You know, I've gone to a lot of festivals and a lot of shows, and there's something so special about Fest, which is like, you know, before I ever went to Fest, I heard people say this, and you can't quite understand until you get there. And I hope one year you're able to make it work, dude, because it really is like, truly, there's something so special about Fest. And for us, we've been embraced there with so much love. So it's, you know, Fest. I make a joke after every Fest that like maybe we'll just play one show a year and it'll just be Fest, because it's hard to go play anywhere else after we play Fest, because Fest, like all of our fans from across not just this country, but you know, people fly in from all over the world, and they're all there. You know, or a big chunk of them are, and they all know the words and they all sing along. So, yeah, Fest is really special for us, dude. It's a great spot.
Yeah, I haven't been to a bad Fest once.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because I've heard other stories about, you know, the venues that don't have their shit together. It's just you know, the clientele or the you know, the fans or whatever. But it's never.
Man, I gotta say, like,
wanting to go.
Yeah, I've never. You know, I'm from Long Island, so we love talking shit, but I can't talk any shit on Fest. I feel like I actually just had a conversation recently about how impressive it is that they're able to take such a, you know, I think it's 1,300, 400 bands or something. They're able to take all these hundreds of bands over like 10 venues or whatever, and they run it. So I mean, I'm sure that shit does go down and bands are late or whatever, but I've never seen it happen personally. Like every band starts and ends on time. They do the, you know, you get 15-minute changeover. Everything is so smooth that I can't think of a bad thing to say about it. I wish I could, but I really can't.
Yeah.
It seems like a well-oiled machine, and Randy from Fest just posted the other day that you know, he had over 1,000 submissions, because now they're doing the submission page, and I mean, it's insane. It's crazy that they have the employees or the volunteers actually, that just go through that much trials and tribulations to give us such a great experience, you know. And I just want to say, this past Fest when we played, I mean, that was definitely like an outer body experience for me, and I think I could speak for the other guys too. Like, definitely one of top 2 to probably the best performance that I think I've done personally.
Yeah,
it was just so much fun, man.
Yeah, and I can understand, you know, just you know, playing in a high, you know, getting that high off the stage, and you know, and having your fans all in one place, and you know, checking out other bands and meeting other bands and seeing other bands that you're friends with, all that kind of stuff. It's that community to where it's like you guys have played it 3 times. You know the bands that are going to play there or have played there, or bands that you haven't played before that you're friends with, or maybe not, and you want to check out. It seems like the most incredible a thing. And you know, I think one of my dreams is to set up a tent one year and just like have people come to the tent and just do a podcast there, and just like, what are you guys doing, you know, all that kind of stuff. That would be like a really cool dream to have, is just have like my own tent, to be able to, you know, you guys walk up, I interview you guys for 15 minutes, all right guys, see you later, have a beer, you know, what are you guys doing here, blah blah, and all that kind of stuff. And
I think that's an awesome idea, Brad. I think
definitely.
I think that's very cool.
Yeah, so
I mean, that's essentially what happens, like, without the mics. So just mic it up and put it out as a podcast, because that's all Fest is. I mean, there's a lot of music, but there's so much camaraderie, and you get to see all your friends that you wait all year long to see, like, with, you know, the exception of a handful of gigs or maybe a short tour or something. You know, we've become such close friends with so many bands, and especially like Florida guys, like Dial Drive, again. Those guys, I mean, Fest is such a great excuse to get together with all of your best friends and check them out. And, you know, you can't miss anything there unless there's overlap, which there is, but it's a good thing. There's so many bands to choose from. It's insane. Got to make it. got to do the pod.
I
For
know.
sure.
I do every
That's
year,
a great idea.
every year. I'm like, this is my year. And then I think this past year they had it the week before Halloween or 2 weeks before
Yeah,
Halloween
yeah,
or
they
something like
did.
that.
It was earlier
And I
than
was
usual.
like, all right, this is my window. This is my window. This is my window. And it just didn't happen. Like my wife likes making all my girls' costumes. So it's like, it's super involved and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like one of those things where it's like, hey, I can't leave for like 3 days. Like, not that I do anything here. She does everything. She does 98% of the stuff for Halloween.
Sure.
But, like me going, it's like, golfers, I'm not a golfer, but golfers will go like out of town for the whole weekend and play golf all weekend. I want to go to a festival like all weekend. You know what I mean? But it's just,
I mean, it seems like
I'll make
it seems like it's a special time for the family, dude. And that's,
yeah.
that, cherish that time. I was going to say, why don't you just bring how about the family goes to Fest? There's a lot of, they have Fest kids stuff during the day. And, we're old now. So a lot of our friends who play in bands at Fest bring their children. And, it's cute to see them with the big old earmuffs on and just indoctrinate your kids now into the scene and make sure that you steer them in the right direction.
Oh, no, trust me, I got a 12-year-old. She and I've dropped hints with her and stuff. She started getting into music, into Spotify and stuff. And she came out of her room a couple weeks ago, and she's like, "Have you ever heard of System of a Down?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "I love those guys." She's like, "Do you like Korn?" I'm like, "Yeah, I like Korn." She's like, "I love those guys." I'm like, "Cool." She's like, "Have you heard of the Insane Clown Posse?" And I was like, "Yeah, I love those guys. Bloodhound Gang. I love those guys." I'm like,
"Wow,
oh
what year is she living in, man?"
She's 12 years old. She's got Korn. She got a Korn shirt for Christmas, and she got a System of a Down Toxicity shirt for Christmas. She wants to go see Sublime down in St. Pete.
I'm gonna spill the beans here. This is the first time. This is an exclusive, a Signal Chords exclusive. Spilling the beans. I have emailed Fest begging them to let us do a Korn cover set this year, and they've ignored me. Thus far, I've not received an email back about that. So if anyone's out there, I don't know when this comes out, but if anyone's out there listening, go to Fest's Instagram and demand Tired Radio gets to do a Korn cover set this year.
Dude,
please.
Hell yeah. What's the main jam? What's the favorite jam from Korn that you would love to play at Fest? What would be the first song?
God.
I mean, dude, it would be so sick just doing the whole "Are you ready?"
Yes,
just in that place, fucking jump like
dude.
Kevin, get on it, dude.
It's the biggest song. Yes. Fuck it, it's gonna be.
I'm ready. You ain't got to
ask. I got 2 7-strings over here, Tony.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready. So I mean, like that's kind of where your daughter is now is a big part of where I started in music before I got into punk. It was new metal and so she's on she's on the journey. And Korn is still like, I don't know. I went through the Fest archives and like no one's ever done a Korn cover set, and they do a lot of those new metal. There's been like 3 or 4 Rage cover sets. There's been Deftones. There's been System of a Down, but there's never been Korn. And Korn was for me like, when I was 12, 13, every wall in my room was Korn. Like I'm not even exaggerating. I had a shrine. I used to celebrate Jonathan Davis's birthday and light candles, and like I loved that band so much. Nice. So if we could do a Korn cover set, it would be the highlight of my life.
Hell yeah. No, I love Korn too. And I showed my daughter a picture of me wearing a Korn. I was in the Navy for a few years. And they had what they call a Steel Beach picnic, like on Sunday when you're underway, you can play basketball on the flight deck and all that kind of stuff. And I had my Korn shirt. It was a maroon shirt. It said Korn right here and it had a big stripe on the side or whatever. And I saw them in Virginia Beach. I was stationed in Norfolk, Virginia, and we saw them in Virginia Beach with Deftones and Orange 9mm.
Sick.
And it was all three bands on their first album back in 1995.
Wow.
Yeah. Back in 95, 96. And I showed my daughter that Korn shirt. She's like, "Oh my God, that's so great." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm like huge, whatever." And like I said, she wants to go see Sublime down in St. Pete. And it's like tickets are like $150 and it's like a 3-day thing. I'm like, maybe that's not your first.
yeah.
Too, like going down to St. Pete. But you're onto something, Tony. I might bring by this time next year, My other two girls will be probably at the age they'll be able to go, so that's probably an incentive.
Yeah, make it a little family
You got me
trip.
You got me thinking now. All right.
Man,
Well,
I hope you make it happen, dude. I hope to be there with you. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Speaking of shows, I know you guys are playing. Fucking forgive me if I screw this up. The Pouzza Fest, and
Not Pouzza. You got it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like looking at the lineup there, and like I thought Fest had a lot of bands. Holy crap! I look at the bill at this thing, and this is another 3-day thing. And have you guys been?
You got your magnifying glass.
Yeah,
we've played Pouzza twice. It's great, man. I love Montreal. I think it's such a great city. It's actually, I mean, it feels like Fest Light, you know, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It's not as all encompassing. I don't know, something about Fest is just so in your face, and maybe because it's more spread out. Like in Gainesville at Fest, like, you know, you're walking down the street and it's just like all Fest kids, and Pouzza's I guess a bit more spread out. And like, I don't know, it just kind of feels like you're in Montreal. You could be there and not even realize that there's like a festival going on around.
That is true. I get what you mean.
Really?
There's like less venues, and like they're way more spread out than Fest, where it's almost like you turn your head, there's a different band playing in every direction.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you have to actually walk and go see it instead of like you said, just you can't turn around and see that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's still, it's still really great to see so many different acts and all that kind of stuff, and be able to pick and choose everything. But it's still a really cool opportunity. That's and when is that? Is that in June? Is that summertime?
My wife bought me dinner. I'm sorry for the interruption.
Oh, nice. That's a good way.
Thank you.
Nice.
I miss you guys.
Miss you, Ree.
I'm in the next room over. Can you bring me a plate?
What?
I'm right in the next room over.
What?
Yeah,
I'm in the next room over. You got to bring me a plate
Okay.
next.
Well, come over.
Brad, I hope this turns into the most unhinged episode of Signal Chords you've ever done.
No, this is the most fun one, man. I'm only in episode 1 of this season, man. So we're up and rolling. Yeah,
it's at in the bar.
But yeah,
sometimes when I do meetings here, my cats start fighting. So hopefully we'll get a little action there too.
Nice. Okay, I got 2 dogs too. I got 2 boxers. So they're gonna probably run fucking batshit around here too. So I was doing one podcast one time, and I had the stand-up lights trying to light my other room that I was in, and they come barreling in. They hit the light over, and I'm like in the middle of an interview, and I had to grab the light and talk to the guys. They couldn't see me off camera, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's great, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. I had to hold it. They're just batshit crazy. So no, I love I just love it all. So it's all good.
Perfect.
All right, so let's talk about Hope in the Haze, the brand new record. I have to get into it because you know what, you've probably seen me tag you. The video I made, any of the posts I've made or whatever, is one of my favorite records of 2025. And I had to look back, and it came out in September, and I can't believe it's been that long. I thought it came out like October, November sometime, and I didn't think it was that long. But unfortunately, running a podcast, the way that I run my podcast is I do it like full force for the first 6 months, and I take the rest of the 6 months off, and I just promote Signal Chords, and I do whatever and do the videos and stuff, because I need a break, right? Doing 6 months once a week and all that kind of stuff, and I miss out on so much good music and good bands to be able to interview around that time. So I'm sorry a little late to hype up the record, but I'll tell you what, man, I'm anxious to talk about it. Let's talk about Hope in the Haze and how it came all together, and what's been different since the Pattern days, going into this record, and kind of where your mindset was when making Hope in the Haze.
First off, dude, when I saw that Hope was like one of your top albums, if not your top album of 2025, it sort of blew my mind, dude. Like, you listen to so much music, so thank you. That's really, really, really cool, man. I'm actually shocked, and it was so awesome to see how many best of lists or year-end lists it landed on, way more than I anticipated. So yeah, I don't know. Hope it's a dark record. I'm sure you might have realized that. Yeah, it's a record. I feel like that was written more out of desperation. Like there was a time where it was supposed to be the last record I was going to make, and I was really down and pretty much certain that I was going to dip out of life. And I don't feel that way anymore. Luckily, I've put in the work, and I think that's a big part of why Hope in the Haze is Hope in the Haze. Is, you know, when the record's really, really dark, but they're, you know, I hope people can take out of it that there's a light at the end if you just keep going. I was in a real bad place, and, you know, here I am, made it out. So, you know, I hope that it inspires
we're all
people.
Better for it, man. We're all better for it, man. And
yeah, dude,
know,
I think I think there's like
right?
that's what I was just gonna say. I think there's a certain catharsis that comes out of,
Sure.
especially if you're in that place, if you're suffering mental illness of any sort, that's really bringing you down. And it's, you know, I have a lot of, I've always had like suicidal ideation and things like that. And it's like taboo, you know. Yeah, but when you hear someone singing about it, and you can relate to such a thing, it's cathartic. Now people are like, you know, you hear it, you're like, this is dark, but to the people who need it, it's not. It's light. At least that's how I've always felt. That's why like bands like Korn were so big for me when I was a kid. Like that, they were saying what I was feeling, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a form of therapy, I think, for sure. 100%.
These walls could talk, you would probably say that they cannot stand one more day, watching me drown in this mess that I've made. But I put another record on the stereo, surrender to my feelings and I lose control. This time I've wasted, I got nothing to show, but we're all gonna fall in the air.
I'll let the guys talk. I feel like I'm hogging the microphone here, so I'm gonna take another bite of my dinner and let the guys talk a little more.
But first I wanted to say, you know, I do listen to a lot of music, right? Like I have to, you know, to keep this thing going. And one of the pitfalls of doing this podcast or doing what I do at Signal Chords or discovering new music, it has dumbified me to not listen to albums in their entirety anymore as much as I did. Like I do still listen to entire albums and stuff if I really dig the band, or if there's okay, they got 2 more songs or 3 more songs, then I'm like, okay, all right, keep going. But there are some albums like Hope in the Haze that a breakthrough, and I'm like, okay, I want to find out what this guy's saying in these songs. And that's what I did. I was like, you know what? You know, I listened to Dream, and I listened to Hope in the Haze. I listened to, you know, all the songs on there. I'm like, holy shit, this is a fucked up record. And I love it because I can relate on not as far levels as you writing the record, but, you know, in certain circumstances, you know, I'm like, holy crap, you know, like going out and drinking till 4 a.m. and all that kind of stuff, and talking all about that kind of stuff. It was, you know, I take it to my records and Regrets, you know, that's a record, you know, that single, and we'll talk about that. That was one of the songs I'm like, holy shit, that's like, no matter what life throws at you, I have got a record to put on and it will fucking save me, kind of a deal. And that's what I fucking took away from it. Now I don't know if that's how it was in your brain or how you wrote that song, but that's what I took from it. And I'm like, holy shit. And so I was like, there's not a bad song on here. And I was glued to every single lyric because I could relate to it in somehow. So that's why I was like, all right, this really broke through and broke, you know, it was resonant with me. So kudos to you guys. And I love discovering and being able to be pumped up about that record, right? Because I do listen to a lot of music, and a lot of music that's really good that doesn't really register with me as much as Hope in the Haze did. So that being said, so anybody else want to talk about the record and all that stuff, I'll hand it over to you guys.
Well, thanks, man. You know, I think there's a reason we all found this punk community, all of us. Everybody's so close knit, and I think it's because we all do relate to each other, and we do you know, a lot of us do have these struggles. And I don't know, that's what makes something so special about it. And the process for this record was so long. And I feel like so many of us individually went through so much in our own personal lives. And it really contributed to putting this record together. You know, when the process is so long, you go through so many shifts in your mindset. You know, you think it's horrible, you know, you want to scrap it all. You think it's the best thing in the world. You think it's going to save rock and roll, you know, and then the next day you hate it and it's the worst. And it's like, what are we even doing? So
this record came real close to being scrapped so many times, dude. I mean, there were
really.
Oh yeah. I mean, I went through a real disgust of it. You know, I couldn't even listen to it. I was like, this is the worst thing. This isn't even music. This is a pile of fucking garbage. But that is who I am innately. It's
You're a
it's
cynical bastard is what you are.
I hate myself and I hate everything that comes out of me. So that is what it's the flow with every album. Patterns was the same way. Lousy Thanks. It's kind of the cycle at this point. And I've learned, you know, you learn to make a Tide Radio pun, you learn your patterns. And, you know, I went through it, but I knew that they're like, you know, I knew it wasn't garbage because I wouldn't have fucking recorded it. You know what I mean? Like I knew at one point I thought these are good songs. This is a record that needs to come out. But it is.
What was that pinnacle moment though? I mean, what was it like, you know, what brings you out of that mindset of saying this all sucks, I want to scrap it all, to, you know what, let's just put this out? Is it just
I don't know if there's one pinnacle moment. I think it's just it's time, you know, like what I have to do is go X amount of months without listening to it and then come back and revisit it. Cause you know, you get so excited and you just play it and play it and play it. I was playing it so much before it came out that I started hearing guitars out of tune, but they weren't. It was like phantom out of tune. It was like psychosis, you know, like straight up losing my fucking mind. So yeah, I think it's just taking time to step away. We come back with fresh ears. You remember, you know, why you wrote the damn thing in the first place. Yeah, and then you just move on. You release it. The weird part is it's all encompassing. It's your life. Like you make a record and then you put it out and it's over. You know what I mean? And it's on to the next one. Now it belongs to the world. And in this day and age, you know, the cycle, people's attention, people like it for a month if you're lucky, and then they kind of forget about it. We spent 3 years on that record, you know.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask you, how long did it take you? It took you 3 years, really.
From recording it to releasing it.
Okay. Yeah, because Lousy Thanks came out in 23, and then how long after Lousy Thanks came around to you guys started recording? Was there some time off in between there?
We actually recorded both at the same time. Where we reached out to Gary Cioni and we just dumped all these songs on him. He's like, oh, well, you know, he was like trying to like trim the fat. And then we were like, no, it's all going to go out. So
yeah, like, we went into the studio with, you know, all the songs that are on Hope and Lousy, and we were going to cut them down to one record, but we couldn't decide what to cut. So we just decided we'll just break this up into a EP and an LP.
Yeah.
So those songs all got tracked at the same time. But then there was like issues where we remixed it. I went back to the studio and changed some things. And then, you know, we were shopping it around, waiting for a label to bite. So all this stuff takes so much time, you know, like, just in general. I mean, you could always just say fuck it and just drop it, but we really wanted to kind of try and do it right. And I'm glad we waited. You know, we landed Red Scare, and that's a big win for our band. So
yeah, I mean that's huge. And how did that come about? I was going to ask you about that. How did that come out? Because I know they've been around for a while, and I mean, I know you guys don't typically probably just shop around, but I didn't know, you know, because you guys were on Gunner Records or
Gunner in Europe, and then we had Sinking Ship putting out our records in the States. But Toby, we've been in touch with Toby from Red Scare for years. Way back, we opened for Brendan Kelly when he came through New York. We did like an acoustic thing, and that's kind of when we formally met. And we hung out
during the time when we were starting to record this album. Is it?
I think before. I don't even think we were recording
Was
yet.
it?
I was still learning the songs.
Yeah, it was
Like, I was
very.
still learning patterns.
It was a long time ago, and we all we all ended up partying all night together. And I kept in touch with Toby through that, and I would like try and get a feel like, would this guy ever sign us? Like, would he ever have any interest? And no was the answer. Like he wasn't giving me anything,
Right.
So I didn't ever really think it would happen, but slowly over time we started becoming friends with more and more Red Scare bands, not on purpose, not that like this was some kind of plan to chip away from the inside out. It just like I went on tour playing filling guitar with our friends in Uber U, and that tour was with No Trigger, who were on Red Scare. And I became really good buds with No Trigger, and they love Tired Radio. So like I remember it being like 3 a.m, and Tom from No Trigger was like calling Toby, like, "You're gonna sign Tired Radio, you have to." And then like
awesome.
Jose from Make War, those are good buds, and he was texting Toby like, "You need to sign Tired Radio, this band and that band." So I think it just got to a point where we pestered him enough. Yeah, he was like, I gotta get these guys off my fucking back.
And places
Well,
like
luckily you
that.
squeaked a full length out of them, and not just like a 2-song EP, right? You
Yeah.
get a full length out. Yeah.
Right.
Places like Fest. I was just saying, like places like Fest are where these connections kind of like are able to grow from just online to okay, now we're in real life, year after year, we're buds. Let's do this, So we just kind of like, and I don't think there was any pinnacle moment that saved it, like we were talking about. I mean, it's just so much hard work, and to let all that go, and the way Tony writes his songs, just hard on the sleeve. We can't just forfeit it, and it really does mean something for us. So for us to have it be with Red Scare and kind of like grow from our EP to a label like Red Scare, definitely we're honored, and we were able to make some cool things happen, and hopefully in the future we're making some stuff happen that won't be announced yet, but it should be fun. Definitely, we're gonna keep on rocking.
I mean, it's just that the doors open. You're in the house. You know what I mean? So it's all a matter of you just going out and doing it.
It's funny that you use that metaphor, because Toby's thing was like he didn't want to sign us before he saw us play live, and he lives in Massachusetts, and we don't, and we don't really play up there often unless we play in Boston or around that area, and he's in Western Mass. So anyways, I think 2 years ago, him and Brendan Kelly tried to come to our show, but it was at capacity. And so that venue we were playing, the drum set was right here, and there was a window kind of like this. And you just see a video after we get off the set. We're checking our phones, and he sends us a video from outside. He's like, I tried to come check out your set, I couldn't make it. And we're just like, oh, this is so fucked up. But ended up setting up a gig with us in New York, and then we went out and had a night again, and we just ended up putting out the record after that a while. But yeah, I mean, we had to put it out. There's no way I was gonna let Tony not put it out. I mean, but yeah, Patterns was such a fitting title for the LP, and for us to go into the studio and do whatever it was, 15 or 17 songs that we went in there with. It's crazy to let all that stuff go if you're in there and putting in the hours. We spent a lot of time and became really close friends with Gary, and stayed by his house a lot, did some home renovations and whatnot. Had some run-ins with a few dogs, but I mean, we had stories for days about going down there, and there's just so many good times associated with that music for me. And each album is different, but yeah, I mean, Hope in the Haze being so dark, there's kind of like a balance to it between the lyrics and then the way we are as people in real life. And the way, our band plays live. We try to have a lot of fun and goof around a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
it just is kind of like polar opposite from the lyrics, but that's just how we do it,
No,
awesome.
it's awesome, and you guys definitely have. Tony, you were talking about you grew up listening to Korn and all those are your bands, and my first love was NWA and Eazy-E, the West Coast, like the West Coast rap, DJ Quick and all that kind of stuff. I was into Run DMC and all that kind of stuff, back in the 80s and early 90s. And those were like my gods. I wanted to be the DOC so bad, and I love it that he's working with the co-defendants because it's like a boyhood dream, like two boyhood dreams. Like the punks come with DOC, like it's the most amazing thing in the world because
it's beautiful, dude.
11-year-old kid in me is just like so hyped on it. But I love, and the point is that there's a definite sound difference between West Coast and East Coast rap, right? There's, you have the DMXs and, then you have the Dr. Dre's and all that kind of stuff, the East Coast, West Coast kind of stuff. And you guys definitely have that East Coast punk vibe that I love. Like, it seems like it's home to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, I know you guys are up in New York, but I'm like, yeah, East Coast, kind of, but I'm not in a gang or anything, but I'm always like, East Coast, you guys are just about to drive away. We can meet up halfway and I'll see your show, kind of. That's what that kind of vibe is. But what I really love about the record is that it sounds so good. Like every instrument I could hear crystal clear. Like you guys definitely took your time on it. Jay's bass, Chris's guitar, Tony your guitar and your vocals, and Kevin your drums are like, that's what I like notice is like if I can hear the bass is the number one thing for me. If the bass sounds good, like I'm a huge fan. And there's a point in one of your songs. What was the what was it? You just had that couple bass lines, like the music goes down and you just have that couple lines. I'm like, oh hell yeah, and then you break right back into it, and I love it when bands do that. And
is it Great Escape?
Yeah, probably.
I love it, man.
The second verse of Great Escape.
Yes. And I was like, oh shit, what fucking happened there? What happened there? But yeah,
Jay was a naughty boy on this record. He did some cool fucking bass lines for sure. I'm a big fan. I don't know if I ever told you this, Jay.
Brad,
thanks, man.
I love.
We actually we connect there because before Korn and nu metal, when I was a bit younger, my first foray into love of music was hip hop. Wu-Tang was 36 Chambers. That's why we have a song called Dream, mocking Cream on the record, because I wanted to give a little homage to the goats. I mean, that I used to carry a picture of Coolio in my wallet. And I literally had Coolio's picture that I cut out of a magazine in my wallet. I mean, he was like an idol of mine. So
that's awesome.
There is that, hip hop to punk pipeline. But I don't know. Go on. Sorry. I just, when you mentioned West Coast hip hop, and I was like, this is, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, more East Coast,
with
but
like metal and punk guys, he's putting out music with freaking, it's like what world am I living in right now? It's like freaking, he's doing metal songs. Like
we got a Method Man feature on the next record. Just wait for it.
Oh hell yeah! I'm ready for it. No, you should do a Korn EP. They should, or just put it as a bonus track. You know what I mean? Like
for sure.
Like some out of nowhere where like the last track is like 37 minutes long and you have to wait until it's like 33. And
I miss that so much.
Yeah, that was so fun.
That was the best.
Yeah, like discovering shit, right?
Yeah, you can own a CD or something forever. Like years later, like you'll fall asleep or whatever, and then like that 38 minutes will go by, and then it's like, what the fuck is that? I didn't know this was here. But to your point with production, man, we spend a lot of time. I was just hanging out with Gary 2 nights ago who recorded the record, and as he said, it's amazing that I'm your friend after he said to me, it's amazing that we're still friends after your incessant insanity in the studio, which I don't think I'm that crazy, but I'm just very I know what I want. Like I know what I want to hear.
Tony, you held a knife to my neck.
What? That's not true. That's not true.
It was a machete.
Tony,
Get it
like,
right.
did you 30 takes in every single vocal performance, or what do you mean like a maniac?
I don't know. I mean, I start getting into like nitpicking certain EQ frequencies. I'll be like, open the EQ, you know, something in the 4,000 is not sounding right. Let's tweak it up. But to me, it's like those little things that make our sound stand out. Like I pick it apart and I want to hear it the way that it's intended to be heard. So I don't know. Yeah, it's my baby. That's why I want my baby to sound good.
So is there a, you know, was there a different kind of approach between patterns in this? Did you want to make it sound different, or were you just kind of just feeling it out kind of a deal? Was there something that you were trying to I guess what I mean, like try to implement new ideas as far as, you know, Chris's guitar work or you know, Kevin's drumming or whatever, the way that things sound was there like a different, not like change the way that you guys are, but like just kind of expand your sound, should I say, as a overall
I
sound?
think so Patterns was like a solo album for Tony where like he wrote everything for that album.
Oh, gotcha.
And then this one was way more collaborative where he just sent us demos and it would just be like rhythm guitar, programmed drums, and then that's it. And it was like, all right, like you guys, whatever works. And I think I still have some like till this day, I think I still have some videos of like me recording myself coming up with different guitar solos just to like capture those and see what worked or whatever. But I would say this one was way more like collaborative, where just everyone, like, he trusted us to come up with like bass lines, drums, guitar melodies, and all that. And even in the studio, I remember, I can't remember off the top of my head. Maybe it was On and On, but like even like some guitar work where Jay was like, "Oh, let me step in." He stepped in and like came up with a guitar part on the spot, and he's like, "Oh, that's great." So I would say that's like the biggest jump from Patterns to Hope in the Haze, is that Patterns is a solo album. This is a band. Like, this is everyone working together.
Yeah, I think to piggyback off him, as time has gone on, because like he said, like this started as a solo project, and with each and every release, it's become more of a group effort. Whereas, you know, that's why I think it's interesting, because we've been a band now for technically 5 years or whatever, 5 or 6 years, but we're only just getting started, like as a band, you know, as a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting, and I think it's going to make for each record being different from the last, which I personally love. You know,
Sure.
You know, I'm really excited. They're coming out here to Philly in like 2 weeks. I have 30 songs written currently, and we're gonna like flesh out a bunch of them. And yeah, I'm very excited to see where those go. And then to answer your question from a production standpoint with Hope in the Haze versus Patterns, I don't know necessarily that there was any intention for it to be different. Like, I loved the way that Patterns sounded, and when I conceptually started this project, I always wanted it to sound like arena big, you know, like I mean, I love all sorts of music, and most of the shit I've been listening to lately is like terrible sounding screamo that's like sounds like it was recorded on an iPhone mic, live. But for Tired Radio, I feel like that I always wanted the sound to be tons of guitar layer, a wall of guitars, big fat ass bass, drums just fucking ripping, and then just that's what I wanted for the band, which is like because it was only supposed to be a recording project when it started, and then like when we realized this was going to be a live thing, I kind of freaked out because I was like, I can't recreate this live. Like I can't. We only have 2 guitars here. There's 15 going on the fucking chorus of this one, and like the way I do vocals, I layer them a lot, and it's like I'm only one person, so that's why I think it's cool now, because Tired Radio on record versus Tired Radio in a live setting are 2 different bands. Cohesive, but 2 different bands, because live we're much more raw, and then on the record it's much more produced. And at first that was scary to me, but I think it's great. I like that there's like this kind of duality between the 2 sides of our band, and I think the Germans like it too, because we were in Germany once, and they have this crazy. They love to be brutally honest with you, and we played a show, and this guy comes up to the merch table to buy a record, and I go, thanks so much, man, and he goes, oh man, this record is not for me. He's like, this is for my friend. He goes, I listen to your record, I hate it, man, so overproduced, but you guys live, you fucking rule, man. I'll come see you live anytime. And I'll never forget that. That was literally the moment I felt okay about our live show. Like, I think up until that moment, I was always a little bit nervous about people coming in expecting this like big overproduced sound like on the record, or produced sound. Now the German guy's in my head, but but he made me feel good. I was just like, okay, there's people could like this other side, this more raw side. And I did toy with the idea of, a lot of bands use backing tracks these days. And I toyed with that idea to make the sound bigger, but I don't know. I don't think it's for us, at least not, maybe in time. I was just hanging out with a band who does backing tracks like they use all the stems that they record for their records and just play along to them. And I was like, that's wild, and I was like, should I be doing that? But I don't know. Not yet. Maybe when we get to we're playing arenas or something to fill out the sound, but at the moment, no, the raw sound works for us.
Time lends itself to wounds that never heal. They just fester as we grow. Where my depression like a boutonniere, a bouquet of sorrow. I'm trying to find some kind of reason to keep living in this world. In the haze, I'm hanging on for happier days.
It's funny because you're saying that you want to have like arena kind of sounding and big, huge sounding songs. And, one of the great things about this record too is because, you have the singles that you have, and then like there's the other tracks that I know that I've listened to over and over again. But there are some tracks that like I loved initially, but I didn't really listen to it like really in depth. And I was on my way back from the doctor's office today, and I was listening to Midnight Miserable. And like, I love that song. That song sounds so huge, and I love it like the chorus of it. And I love when you put that audio and like, we're all gonna die. It goes back in. Like, I love that, and that's what I miss too about music, is like when bands used to put audio in front of, at the beginning of albums or at the end of albums, all that kind of stuff. I love that theatric kind of stuff, and not
for sure
too cheesy. But Midnight Miserable is like one of those like grandiose kind of like songs to me. I was like, holy shit, that fucking song is just fucking crazy. I was getting out of Publix. I was like, holy shit, I got that again when we get back in. So
It's a sleeper song, man.
it
It's
is a sleeper song for sure.
Can I please
Chris has
please
something to
talk
say.
about it?
Go ahead.
So when I first joined the band, there was they sent me so much music I had to learn. I had to learn patterns, and then Tony's like, "Oh yeah, we're working on this new album. Here's a whole bunch of songs." Sent me like 50 songs. I'm like, fuck. That song like stood out to me. Like I had like the demo of it. There was no vocals on it. I'm like, all right, it's kind of cool. It was like 5 minutes, 6 minute long song. And I'm like, all right. And then we got to the practice and they had like a more like trimmed down version. And I heard the vocals with it and I just loved it. And we got to the studio to record it. And I just remember we did like a rough track or whatever. And then Gary turns to us and he goes, all right, this is probably like your worst song. And he's like, next. And then I was like, no. And then Kevin's like, yeah, no, absolutely not. Because he said it was our worst song, but it was still the second song we brought to him. And we're like, dude, no, we're not giving it.
I think it was the very first, actually. And that's why I was like, come on,
was it
bro.
The first?
Fuck. Yeah.
Wait, it was the
Really?
I'm pretty sure it was the very first song. And he was like, yeah, let's skip this one. We'll come back to it maybe at the end. I was like, bro, give it a shot. And now he actually loves it now, too. So that's
and I remember, like, Gary, like, I forget how we got to it, but, like, it was mentioned that, like, oh, this is Chris's favorite song. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, why is it your favorite song? And I'm like, what fucking question is that? Like, I like it. It's sick. Like, yeah. And then we eventually like got it. Like we got it to some point to where he was like, all right, now I see the vision. And you guys earned whatever. What the fuck was Cowtown? What was that? What was that food? We went to some like farmer's market, like called Cowtown, and they had like Tony. What are they called? Like, what is this?
Pretzel logs. Like
a pretzel log. It's like
Amish people
like
that
Philly
make pretzels,
like
and they're fucking awesome.
Ooh, hell
yeah. Gary's studio is in the sticks in New Jersey, and every Tuesday and Saturday at the rodeo they have a gigantic flea market type situation, and there's an Amish pretzel log stand in there, and it's the most incredible delicacy I've ever had. I mean, they make breakfast ones and Philly cheesesteaks and all this stuff, but that was kind of our reward. If we were good boys, we'd get to go to get pretzel logs. But
yeah,
I mean,
can't go wrong with pretzels.
You can't go wrong with pretzel logs.
Yeah. No,
but I'm really happy that I'm sorry. I'm really happy that you said that about that song, because I remember that and I'm like, this song, like, I love this. I still love this song. Like,
I think sometimes those are the best songs, the ones that don't connect immediately, that take time to really get in and resonate. Like Chris said, like Gary went from trying to tell us to scrap that song to, by the end of making the record, it was like one of his top 3. He kept saying, this is my favorite, so it's funny. Sometimes you just got to let things grow. And we internally as a band have talked about like how that's going to be the sleeper song. Like at first, no one's really going to fuck with it. But like, if you give it time, the problem with the music climate now is nobody gives anything time anymore. There's so much music coming at you and your attention span is so little. Like Hope and Haze is a record that I think gets better the more you listen to it, and
I can attest to that as a listener.
Yeah, I've heard that from multiple people, and I feel like I hope that there's people who are giving it that time to grow on them instead of just who have listened to it once or twice and kind of wrote it off, because it does, like, there's something, not that it was done on purpose, but over time, I think it really just grows and grows on you. So yeah, keep listening.
It was one of those, because I asked you for the audio to provide for the podcast, because I was like, well, I'm going to talk about these songs, of course, your singles, and then your title track, and then the records and all that. But I'm like, you know, when I was in the I was on the way to the grocery store, and I get out of my truck, and I'm in the middle of that song. It was right when that audio clip happens. I was like, fuck, I should have got that song. I wanted to talk about it. So I'm so glad we're we're talking about it now. So it's all
Hell
good.
yeah. I could send it
Yeah,
to
I
you.
was gonna say you were asking like the difference about this new album versus Patterns. So I think it's just like you just said. Like sometimes it's like a sleeper thing. Like you have to let things grow on you a bit. And a lot of these songs on that album that just came out, Hoop and Haze, we were actually playing years ago, but just very differently. And the first gig we ever did, I believe we played an hour set, which in the punk rock world is absolutely unheard of. Like you don't do shit like that, right?
Oh,
We did
and that was
hour
Chris's
set.
first gig with us, and he crushed it.
No,
But
that
yeah,
wasn't.
we played.
No, that
Yeah,
was not my first gig. My first gig was Booze Cruise.
No, that well, yeah,
The live
Live
stream.
stream. Come on,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
That was my first
I'm saying
gig.
their first live gig. But anyways, yeah, we played a lot of these songs for a long time until getting into the studio, and I think like they were saying, the collaboration. It's been years that we were already playing these songs. Like during COVID, when we were just starting to get together as a band, some of these songs were mixed in with the songs. Like Chris was saying when he first joined up, we had an original guitar player that never really played with us out because he was just during COVID after the album.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, these songs took a long time to get to where they were at. And in terms of Patterns, I did play drums on it, but it was just, you know, Tony sent me demos and we went right into the studio after getting together like a handful or less of times, just me and him. And then, you know, but that whole anthemic theme, I think Tony is really solid on what he wants when he goes into the studio. And that's kind of, you could call it nitpicking, but he kind of like just knows this is my vision, this is how I'm going to get there. And to be there during Patterns and see all the stuff that got recorded. And then I was just so hyped. And I was like, bro, we need to get a bass player and definitely another guitar player, if not like 6. But yeah, we're so stoked that that album came out. But this guy's an absolute maniac. He's just a writing machine. Sometimes he'll turn off his phone and we won't hear from him. And then he'll turn around and say, oh, guys, I'm going through it. But I just wrote like 4 albums worth of songs in the last 2 weeks. So
awesome.
I get excited
not
when
helping
he
you
stops
set up the
answering.
drums, though, right? That's gonna.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna make
yeah,
it
bro.
nuts.
But yeah, we have a lot more to put out for sure in the future. So we're excited for what's to come.
You know, and I'm excited. I'm excited for you, especially I know that you know you guys are a well-oiled machine now, and you know the future's in front of you. And I mean that's so awesome. And you just answered my next question because you said that you've been playing these songs for a long time. But I was going to ask you, you know, when you go on tour, and I guess you're doing a run in Germany as well. You're going back to Germany. Maybe you meet that guy again. And
I hope so. I hope so, man.
But you know, I was going to say, like, how do you determine, you know, the new, you know, the set list as far as playing your new stuff, and then you know your EP and all that kind of stuff? How do you kind of like make everybody happy in the band and try to make everybody happy in your audience?
I mean, for me,
it's less focused on the band.
Yeah, for me,
Probably
I
more
try to think about the audience experience more than our experience. People pay to be there, you know, and I want them to have a fun time, and yeah, we definitely try to put together something that feels like a sort of like a journey, you know, not just because we could play all the loud bangers, or you know, I try to do it.
Yeah.
When you go to the club and you know you listen to DJ shit and they take you for a ride up, and you know, like try to do it that way, where you know we dip down into some of the softer stuff and then come back and then end really strong, and then the song choices are always hard because there's the songs that we would love. There's the deep cuts like Midnight, where it's like, I want to play this, but it's not the song that people really, you know, are out there know. If we get an hour long set again, okay, then we could sneak some more of those in there.
Sneak in there, yeah. just so you practice them and learn them for anything. You know what I mean? Regardless if the people don't like it, like you still need to practice those songs, right?
Yeah. We try and keep fresh on all of them. I mean, it's hard now as the catalog grows. It's like, if someone yelled out, play mountains and molehills at the next show, it probably wouldn't sound very good. I mean, but one practice on it would be all it takes to kind of get it back fresh.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying that other gig at Fest that we did because just emotion and everyone singing along and so many people we didn't know as well as the ones we did know, just absolutely just having the time of their lives screaming along. Aside from that, I mean, and a handful of other amazing gigs that we've done, we just love playing in front of people, whether they're fans or not fans, and trying to, win them over. So have them experience and have a good time. But if you're talking from a band perspective, some of my favorite gigs were our release shows for this album because we did the record front to back and getting together with the boys and just really fine tuning all those deep cuts or whatever, not the singles that maybe everyone knows. A lot of people do listen to the full album, so maybe they do know it. But for us, to play those songs in the studio versus playing them live, it's just so fun to actually go in and play the full album. I don't know about you guys, I know it's stressful, but we had a great time playing our release shows and doing the album live. So
yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of bands are doing nowadays, of doing that full album kind of stuff, and that's such a great experience, and like because you're punking, like your songs are like 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes here or whatever. You can do the whole record plus another handful of songs and put them in, right?
Yeah, I mean, those shows were super cool. Because I knew while we were playing some of those songs that would be probably one of the only very few times we'll ever play those songs. Like I knew that some of them were not really ever going to make it into a normal set list, a 30-minute set list. Like even the interlude on Hope in the Haze, Fade Away. I loved playing it live. It sounds so good live, and like those we only did 2 nights of playing the record from start to finish, but I really took that in. And I was like, this is really cool. Like we're probably not until like if we're still a band on the 10-year anniversary of this record. You will be. I'll be long gone. But yeah, that would be cool. Maybe we could pre-film it now and you guys could go play it from the gray,
some gray hair filters on
from my head.
Get you a hologram.
Yeah, that would be sick. Hey, we've come a long way with AI. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining the podcast. I really appreciate it. Love what you guys are doing. I'm a huge fan. I'll be following you guys, and hopefully you guys can make it down here to Orlando. I got a cold beer waiting for you guys, and
oh hell yeah,
we'll hang out, we'll high five, and all that kind of stuff. But
bro,
success to you guys.
I just want to send that right back to you, Brad. I love following Signal Chords, and ever since we got in touch with you years ago when Patterns first came out, you just, like Tony said, you liking our album that much means so much because we know how much music you check out and how kind of versatile your videos. Nobody makes videos like you, man. So keep doing what you're doing, bro, and keep the pot up. And yeah, thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, dude. What you do for the community means so much to the community. So dude, that you like people like you are just as important as the bands in the scene. Someone spreading the gospel,
definitely.
So,
one guy at Uncle Lou's. I mean, we need people like that.
That one guy. Turns out that one guy was Brad the whole time.
I think it might have been. Did you used to have dreads?
No, but
in a past life. Yeah.
All the support throughout the years, dude. That's been really, really fucking awesome. So thank you.
No, it's awesome because I enjoy what I'm doing, and when I first started Signal Chords, it was totally different. But I was like, what do I need to focus on? What do I enjoy? And I just love new bands and discovering new bands. I'm like, the way I describe it, it's cheesy, but it's like It's like from Point Break, I'm looking for the ultimate ride. You know,
Oh, dude, I love
Hell
that.
yeah.
So the way that I look at it is like I'm waiting for that perfect song. You know what I mean? I'm going to surf all these waves and listen to all these songs, but I'm going to find that one, the hidden gem, that's going to be like the next kind of thing. And that's the way I've always looked at music growing up and discovering bands before anybody else does, kind of a deal. And I like the popular bands and stuff. Don't get me wrong, I like all that shit. But it's like there's nothing more satisfying to me is discovering new bands, becoming fan of new bands. And now I got this podcast that I actually really love these bands and love talking to you guys all about it, because like I'm right here with you and I'm talking about one of my favorite records from 2025. So it's a really
yeah.
surreal experience, but it's an honor and a privilege, gentlemen. I really appreciate the time, and we'll be in touch very soon.
Sounds good.
Thanks
man.
so much, man.